Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a quick look at SUI, see what's going on. We are effectively topping out of that 250 range, and it is pulling back at this point, mainly because Bitcoin's retracing after that little bit of a pump, and you got to recognize that Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, and with this effectively going higher, what happens with altcoins? Well, they generally like to pull back here, so it's pretty commonplace for that to happen. Sorry, here, I was trying to pull this up here for you so you can see Bitcoin dominance up, Bitcoin price up, altcoins go down. That's essentially what we're seeing here. So alts are getting pretty hammered over the last 20, 40, 48 hours as this continues to rise. So money's flowing into Bitcoin, coming away from alts. It's kind of a standard scenario. Good news is this doesn't take place forever. So this is temporary, but all the more reason to just be kind of careful and cautious taking longs into today's fundamental event. There is, I think, Trump's giving a speech at 4 p.m. Eastern regarding the tariffs and everything. So that's pretty much been the reason why we've had such volatility in the market last couple of months. It's been very difficult to trade because of those reasons. So heads up on that. Please be careful. Okay, so back in liquidation data, we're kind of in the middle of a range here, but 260 is a pocket there, and then 280 to $3 is really heavy. More so 285 or higher, that's the more macro liquidation range for us. So at this point, we're not really in like a position where the price is just going to surge in either direction because of liquidation. Same thing here as well with liquidation delta. We're kind of breaking even for the most part, which does imply that we are due for a breakout. Usually when you start to see that compress, similar to Bollinger Bands, you will see that the price inevitably shoot in either direction. Having said that, though, most of the open interest is above the price action, reinforcing resistance in the 250 to 280 range. So we do have a lot of ground to cover between now and whenever we break bullish. So please recognize we're not doing that yet. We're still below the 50 in the 200-day SMA, generally construed as disadvantageous. We can see here as well that we aren't over 50 in the RSI. Money flow index is right there with it, and the moving average is there too. So outside of momentous indicators letting us know we may continue further up, we've got a lot of traditional resistance and descending type of trends based on moving averages that are holding the price action in place. So me personally, just kind of shooting from the hip here until we're over 250. I've mentioned this for the last 3 or 4 trading days. We'd really need to be above that level to be in better shape. I would much rather see 280 or higher. That's when we're really going to be in good shape there. But between now and then, 250 plus is ultimately what we're looking for to have any confidence in taking along. So just say, for example, today we have good news for tariffs. Bitcoin starts to stabilize. Bitcoin dominance starts to pull back and Bitcoin price goes sideways. At that point, I'd be happy to take a long at 250 for this coin. Between now and then, there's just too many things kind of circling or hovering above the price action. It doesn't make a ton of sense to take a trade. Not to say that you couldn't still find profit. That's still very much a viability. It just depends on your margins and how loose you're going to try to play it. If you are trying to take a long to $3 today, I think that's a bad idea. We need to wait for a little bit longer to ensure we're in better shape there. Having said that, we still got a lot of control here at this point, 618.65 fib level, that golden pocket. So 225 to 230 is that heavy support range. We saw the price action try to retest that and recovered quite nicely. You got to recognize Bitcoin ran from 84 to 87K in that 4 to 5 hour stretch. So that is a lot of reasons why we saw that recovery too. So once more, all the more reason to kind of just don't get ahead of yourself. 4 hour time frame is pretty much indifferent. There's a lot of good and bad together. And when that happens, the best trade you can take is no trade at all. I know it sucks. You've watched these videos for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, and you're so bummed out that you just cannot seem to get this guy to tell you what to do. Well, truth is, I'm not going to tell you to take a trade until there's good confirming factors. And at this point, this coin is not really giving us a ton of awesome stuff. Now, granted, we're establishing higher lows, but parallel highs until we break that parallel high pattern, there's no reason to take a trade. Albeit breakout traders are probably taking longs right now because we keep retesting this level of 250. And I do agree with the fact that we're probably more likely to break to the upside, but I'm also not loving just all this news looming overhead. All that being said, Ichimoku Cloud is confirming that we're tentatively on the right tracks here. So if the hourly is good, 4 hours not, daily sucks. So where are we at with all that? Well, that's an average of just fair to middling. Nothing good comes from a analysis that tells us we're going in both directions in all different time frames, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Not really a good trade consideration. If it's any consolation, we're shorting Bitcoin at 87,000, or we have already a short position open there, just kind of in light of this fundamental catalyst coming here, based on the fact that historically, this year alone, we've seen like what every single sell-off we've seen is tariff related. And we've only seen one good pump there, and that was shortly fizzled out within 24 hours. So I don't really see any positivity here coming later today. Either way, that's where we're at. Hope that makes sense and I described this correctly. Be sure to tune into our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you want access to my playout charts and, of course, technical fundamental data as well. And then last but not least, if you're part of my community here, be sure to tune into our trade alerts. Make sure you read through these. These are kind of just heads up on what's going on. I explain why I take the trades that I take. And then signals guide too. If you're following my automated trading bot, make sure that you follow these guides here. These are just consistently updated, making sure we have good profit for you. The exchange is taking fees, unfortunately, that is equal to the amount of profit that we're taking with the bot. So the bot is super profitable. We just kind of got to find a way around it. So I'm working with our BitGet affiliates to see if we can get some kind of discounts out. The way I'll be updating that here soon. Anyways, thanks so much again for watching. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks again.